This story wastes no time pulling you into a world that feels both hilarious and deeply relatable. And honestly, from the very first scene, you already know you're in for something different. It opens with this unusual, almost over the top character, Professor Maduka, a man who speaks in heavy, exaggerated grammar that even his own students struggle to understand. And right there, the tone is set. You're not just watching a regular village love story. You're watching a character driven comedy where personality clashes are the real engine of the plot. Now, let's talk about Professor Maduka himself because he is the heart of this entire story. On the surface, he looks like a joke. He rides around selling ice cream, speaks like a walking dictionary, and behaves in ways that make people question his sanity. But underneath all that, there's something deeper. This is a man who is actually intelligent, disciplined, and principled, but completely disconnected from how the real world communicates and operates. And that contrast is what makes him both funny and strangely admirable. Then comes Agatha, and this is where things start getting emotionally layered. Agatha is completely, unapologetically in love with Maduka. She doesn't care about his attitude, his rejection, or even his embarrassment of her. She chases him with everything she has, cooking for him, cleaning for him, even trying to change herself just to fit into his world. And while it's played for laughs most of the time, if you really look closely, her character represents something very real, the pain of loving someone who doesn't love you back. But here's where the story flips everything. Enter Lucy, the educated, beautiful city girl who comes into the village for her thesis. The moment Maduka sees her, everything changes. This same man who couldn't tolerate Agata suddenly becomes softer, more attentive, and almost vulnerable. And for the first time, you start to see that his madness is not really madness. It's just that he hasn't met someone who speaks his emotional language until now. Lucy, on the other hand, is confused by him. She doesn't know whether to take him seriously or laugh at him. One minute she's intrigued by his intelligence, the next minute she's questioning his lifestyle. And that tension between attraction and confusion is what builds their connection slowly. Unlike Agatha's loud, desperate love, Maduka's feelings for Lucy are quiet but intense. And that difference is very important. At the same time, the story introduces another character, EJ, the rich, confident engineer who seems like the perfect option. He has money, exposure, and everything society tells you a woman should want. But here's the twist. Despite all that, something feels off about him. He talks too much, tries too hard to impress, and lacks the genuine depth that Maduka naturally has. And without saying it directly, the story begins to question what really defines a good partner. Is it status or is it sincerity? One of the strongest aspects of this story is how it uses humor to hide serious themes. You are laughing at Maduka's grammar, Agatha's persistence, and the villagers' reactions. But beneath all that, the story is talking about class differences, self worth, emotional intelligence, and the illusion of perfection in relationships. And let's not ignore one of the most powerful moments when Maduka, completely blinded by love, starts doing chores like washing clothes and cleaning the house just because he believes Lucy needs help. That scene is funny, yes, but it also shows sacrifice. It shows a man willing to humble himself for love. And at that point, you can't even call him crazy anymore. You start to respect him. Meanwhile, Agatha's storyline becomes more painful as it progresses. Because while Maduka is giving his all to Lucy, Agatha is still holding on to hope. And the harsh truth is, no matter how much she tries, she cannot force him to love her. Her journey becomes a quiet lesson about knowing when to let go, even when your heart refuses to. As the story continues, Lucy begins to see Maduka differently. What once looked like madness starts to look like uniqueness. What once sounded like noise starts to sound like intelligence. And slowly, she begins to connect with him on a deeper level. Not because he changed, but because she finally understands him. That right there is the beauty of this story. It doesn't rush love, it builds it through misunderstanding, growth, and emotional discovery. By the time everything starts coming together, you realize this isn't just a romantic comedy. It's a story about identity, about staying true to who you are even when the world doesn't understand you. Maduka never changed his personality to impress Lucy. He remained himself. And that authenticity is what eventually draws her in. At the same time, the film subtly reminds you that love is not always fair. Agatha loved deeply, but she wasn't chosen. And that's a reality many people face. Not every love story ends with mutual feelings. And sometimes the strongest love is the one that teaches you to walk away. In the end, what makes this story stand out is its balance. It blends comedy with emotion, exaggeration with realism, and chaos with meaningful storytelling. You laugh, you cringe, you feel frustrated, and at some point, you even feel sorry for almost every character because everyone in this story is chasing something: love, validation, purpose, and not all of them will get it the way they expect. And that's what makes it so real. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want to experience the full story for yourself, trust me, you don't want to miss it. Head over to Mauricesamtv right now and watch the complete movie. You'll appreciate every moment even more seeing it play out on screen. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie breakdowns like this.